not as loud, but it's just as effective. I don't have to hold nothing down. So what it is basically is that, you cannot bully people. You cannot just terrorize people. You cannot just take a woman, throw her on the ground, molest her, and just get away with it. At least not in the eyes of the Lord. Maybe perhaps in the eyes of man. Perhaps in man's device, in man's rule of law, this is acceptable. The officers are granted impunity. But really what it is a system of class. People who have capital, they have control. They can go out, commit crimes, and hire a decent lawyer and get off the case. Pretty simple. If you're not rich, like most people in the land, no, you get put through the system, And when you're facing X amount of time, when you're facing X amount of charges that are made up, right? That are made up, it has a result on people. First of all, it frustrates people, which they love to use against you. It's called provocation. They love to provoke people. The police provoke people because as soon as you get upset, that gives them the reason to throw you down, put the cuffs on you, and this kind of thing. So, that's one of the tools of the trade. Just push a button. Just keep pushing your button. And, of course, it doesn't work so well in front of the judge either when you get upset. So, they find those people that have already been oppressed, and they continue to oppress them. And, again, it gives them the reason, the excuse to continue what they're doing, because as long as they're pointing their fingers on you, they're taking the accountability off themselves. So, what it is you got to make some noise. You got to get out here. You got to create a scene. You got to get people involved. You got to, so social network's not going to work because we know that's been taken over. Police are running that thing, They're on there pretending they're so-and-so, saying this and that. Mass confusion. So, really you got to hit the street. This is the courtroom. This is the jury. This is the jurisdiction. This is the judicature. This is everything to do with the law, because this is the First Amendment, freedom of expression. They could never get rid of freedom of expression from us, because then they know they'd be running a tyranny, and everybody would know it. Yeah, that's what they tried to do in England before they founded this country. And that's the reason why this country got founded, because the separatists wanted to escape that rule of law. Now, they may have drafted the Mayflower Compact because they were just smart. They knew if they didn't side, at least pretend to side with the Queen and the King, then they were going to get taken out. But this system of rule of law has not changed. It was devised and drafted and endorsed by slave masters that we're getting ready to honor in the next month. And we're going to all chase around a dollar bill with this big slave master's head on it. So as long as the foundation of this system is corrupt, then how corrupt will be the tree? You cannot have a plant where the fruit, the roots of the tree is unhealthy and not expect the fruits to be unhealthy. That's unheard of, No matter how many scientists you put on there, no matter how many synthetic compounds and GMOs and everything you come up with, that tree is going to be corrupt, When you try to bypass that of nature, you see the results that you get. So these are the results, these are the fruits that they have sown. The police have gone into the communities, they've gone into the neighborhoods, and they've sown those seeds of mistrust among the communities, and then they play everybody against their neighbor. And that's what I call unchristlike. That's ungodly. That is oppression. I don't care if you read the Old Testament or the New Testament, it's wrong. It's a sin. Oppression is sin. When you benefit at the expense of your neighbor, you are an oppressor. You are a sinner. And you need to repent. You all need to repent. My wife was assaulted sexually by an officer over 2 years ago. But what happens? Well, they throw you in the system, this and that. They make you go shut your business down 15 times and, facing 15 years and all these kinds of made-up charges. So what does it come down to? It comes down to an inequitable system. A system that's not working. A system whose foundation is cracked. And how will the house stand? How is the house going to stand when the whole foundation's cracked? It can't stand, So they're going to keep us down. They're going to keep us in the gutter. They're going to keep dividing us against each other. Keep deceiving their brother against their neighbor. And that's the whole game. They're going to keep the accountability off themselves. Now, they have the international players getting involved. They have the private institutions getting involved. And these institutions are taking over the roles of what was before the public servants, because we have endorsed this system of laws. We haven't really become sovereign. We haven't really become free. We haven't really established our real freedom. No, we are still under subject of the oppressor. We are still under subject of those international rulers. You can call them England, you can call them the Crown, you can call them in Switzerland. It doesn't matter. They other choice. It's whoever has the capital has control. And if you don't have capital, you don't have control. You know? These people are run by the Commerce Department. It's all about money. You know, if it affects publics, you know, we want them out of here because they're running the show around here because they're the largest corporation. They have the lawyers. I don't know what these guys do. They go in strip clubs, they eat steak, or whatever they do, it works. You know, Solomon said hell and destruction are never full, so the eyes of men are never satisfied. So they've used these incentives to provide for the outcome that they desire. And when I say they, you know, I'm talking about the oppressor. I'm talking about those that benefit at the expense of others. And the police are the enforcers of the oppressor. You know, most of the police don't know what's going on. They really don't. You know, they're caught up in their sports and their barbecues and hanging out and, you know, rusting after other women. We know that's prevalent here in this department. And, you know, really, they don't even understand. They don't know the history of the country. They don't even know the law, but they do what they're told. It's all about taking orders down the line. It's a big pyramid scheme, you know. Chief of police, he gets his orders from the Chamber of Commerce. And they get the orders from the big businesses. And it's all capital involved. It's all money involved. George Washington, Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson was a rapist, you know. DNA is evident about that. Harvard put that out. Of course, Harvard wants to hide their own crimes. And George Washington, you know, he was a slave driver. And nevertheless, how many black people are going to go work for these kinds of institutions? Plenty, plenty. Because there's always those house Negroes. They can oversee those field Negroes. Yeah? Because the incentives are provided for them. Hey, and I don't blame them either because they have to survive. We all have to survive. But at what expense? And who will be the judge? Well, I tell you, my Lord is the judge. He is the lawgiver. He is the king with a capital K, and he will save us. Yes, the minute that we forget about the Lord is the minute that we're done. We are defeated. So, the moment that we come to the Lord is the moment we are victorious. And that's right. We are victorious. I am victorious. I'm victorious right here today. You know? As a matter of fact, thank you, Officer Rose, for sexually molesting my wife because, you know, I was a quiet person up until now. But now I have plenty to say because I've had enough. I've had enough. You know? My wife is a God-sent woman. She's a righteous woman. And you know, you just treat her like she's an animal and just put your hands all over her and sexually abuse her, Mr. Officer Richard Rose. And I'm sure many, many other officers in this department have done the same thing. You know, maybe they need to be tested for steroids. Maybe that's the problem. You know, they're still running around, you know, trying to find somebody with marijuana, but they don't even want to look at themselves. How many of them are doing it? How many of them are hypocrites? How many of them are drinking it? You think drinking might affect people a little bit more than smoking marijuana? You think so? You think science might have proved that by now? But how come people can't use the marijuana? Why is that? Because people wake up. You know, they no longer want to work for the oppressor. They no longer want to be servants of corruption. You know, they don't want to serve evilness and evil people and evil deeds, otherwise known as the Antichrist. Instead, they decide they wanted to live a peaceful life. You know, and that's the opposite of what the oppressor wants because the oppressor knows we've been there when we founded this country with the separatists. They were risen. They were woken up. They had enough with the rule of law. As a matter of fact, it was the Catholic Church, it was the Pope that they considered to be the Antichrist and the King. Henry and all down the line to Elizabeth were taking orders from the Pope. Mary was the last one. I don't think Elizabeth is excluded too. But perhaps I'm getting a little bit off the subject. I want to stay on the subject here with the Lakeland Police Department, you know, because we know plenty of corruption comes out of this. We've had personal experience ourselves, and we know how it works, you know. They throw you in jail, they put you through the system, they try to intimidate you, they try to put fear in your heart, and that is terrorism. That's terrorism, you know. Maybe we need to start, you know, looking at the Taliban as potential law and order within this country, because I would feel more safe with the Taliban running this country than I would with these police right here. That's just my honest opinion. Now, you can hold that against me, but hey, I'm just speaking from the heart. That's just from experience. And I'm somebody with a master's degree. I'm somebody that's been through the ropes.